Alright, we got another chapter of Dr. Stone. A very badass cover with a character that I called Suiru at least 5 times in the last video. So all of you people from yesterday, I'm so sorry. The character's name is clearly Ryu Sui. Even when I was saying it, I was like, is it really Suiru? Because I remember it being like weirder than that. I remember it being like not what I thought it was. So yeah, it's backwards. It's not water dragon, it's dragon water. Anyways, he's looking pretty badass. He's holding the sword. This is the second time in a row that he's gotten the cover. This time with his beautiful assistant Francois. I feel like my prediction at the end of last chapter is maybe going to come to a head much sooner than I realized. In that there's going to actually be a power struggle among the Kingdom of Science. And I would like to see how that plays out. Because so far, they've touched on a lot of kind of the philosophy of power in ways that I find interesting. But they haven't really gone so far as to kind of have any sort of thesis, you know? It's not that they've been giving a really kind of kitty gloves, hands-off sort of treatment of these issues, but they haven't gone all the way yet either. So what are they going to say? What is the fate of Ryusui? Is he just kind of their lackey that made a series of gluttonous investments and now is broke? Or is he actually going to claim some sort of throne among these people? And how are we to feel about all of this? Let's find out. The resource network is online. Chrome and Senkyu having a blast, flying down the mountain. This looks so unsafe. These are the two most brilliant minds they have at their quote-unquote disposal. They're both just bombing down this hill, surrounded by stone, big bags of stone in the back. At this point, I'm totally happy kind of thinking of a lot of these illustrations as more fantastical than I guess like actually depicting something happening in reality, which is a really a wonderful part of manga that you can very seamlessly flow between. I don't know, you get it, right? Are they really bombing around like that? Is it really as dangerous as it looks? I don't know. And then we have Gen driving the car. Well, our lack of roads just makes it worse. Well, maybe it's time for roads. Looks like somebody's laying down some asphalt. Yeah, it's a good thing Tsukasa is not awake to see this. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about this. I mean, I get it. Roads are pretty necessary. But whenever I'm like in deep in a parking lot, you know, like a big parking lot, and you've just been walking on asphalt for like 10 minutes, like walking straight in one direction, it's just all asphalt. It's like, damn, we have really effed up this planet. This is not good. Like it's hard not to feel like that, even though rationally you can think about it in a much more constructive way, you know, actually thinking about the functionality of it and the damage it causes, but like when you're actually just deep in it. Anyways, they got the masks, they got the asphalt, paved roads are coming. Started using oil to change the whole ball game. It's just gravel. Yeah. Waste byproduct plus gravel. Yeah, that's asphalt, I guess. I don't really think about it, but yeah. Strained out when we boil down oil. Turn on the gravel, spread it across the road, and pound it silly. Here's our big muscle team going at it. So scientific and yet still a bit primitive. Yeah. They should have meant a road roller though. Everyone loves a good road roller. A whole network of roads would be too much to ask. Shortest route to the rip over that train. Why is Gen like driving the car anyways? Maybe he's like much more kind of naturally adept at vehicles because he grew up in the modern world. Maybe it's like just kind of subtly reminding us that Gen has like no other physical skills, so he can't really help with any of the other projects. More really, it's just because he's a main character and he's got a fun personality, so they're gonna put him into lots of different scenes. But I just kind of think it's funny that this ended up being his job. Hauling iron in the gorilla car. The water tribe will get the job done. Ooh, that kind of makes sense that these guys would be the water team, because I'm sure they did lots of fishing and stuff back when they lived on the island. I wonder what's I'm from. We're fishing. Yeah, that makes sense. Upsides of living this long, skinny islands are. Yeah, that's cool. I never really thought about that, but Japan probably does a lot of international, like within Japan, water-to-water shipping. Canada does too, kind of, but instead of, you know, a long skinny island that you come at from a bunch of different angles from the water, we just have lots of rivers and lakes that you can do a lot of transport across. For better or worse. Now our lakes are all polluted. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's so sad that you can't swim in Lake Ontario. Wow. New Sweden is old school rich. They got their start in the Edo period, or the Edo period of cargo vessels. Cool. Well, the phone's ringing. Pick up the phone. Nice, nice. It's plenty small vessel in my day. This big old ship wouldn't give me trouble, but oh yes, the ship. They're building the ship. Oh, look at it! Look at it! Look at the structure of it. I talked about this at some length before, but this whole shipbuilding thing is just so I don't know. It's so romantic to me. I think that's the only word I can use. It carries a lot of romance, and the feeling of the whole community coming together, surrounding the ship, which just rises up from amongst them. Oh, it's so good. Look at it. You can see its bones. The bones of the ship are there. So what is the old man having a trouble with? Parts won't reach. They won't align. They're sticking out. The whole hull's starting to warp. I fix one spot, another falls out of place. It's a mess. Modern times, shipping on a scale involves a great number of specialized techniques. I'm trying until we figure it out. Science built on trial and error. That's when my calculation falls apart. Ah, okay. So Senkyu, maybe at first, I actually envisioned this being a many-year-long process of trial and error and many different iterations of ships. But now that they've made contact with this Y-Man, things are getting a lot scarier, a lot faster. Because who knows what he's capable of? Any second, he could just be like, all right, well, nuke, and that's it. It's the last thing that happens in the entire manga. So, okay, this makes sense. Change of plans, he says. But what's the new plan? It better still involve the ship. My heart is pretty set on that ship, I gotta say. Forget the massive ship! No! No! No, the massive ship! No! I refuse. All right. Dropped. No, I'm just kidding. There's no way I'm going to drop this. So my beautiful full-scale sailing ship. So what's the lesson going to be here? Risui is going into a flashback. When you emerge from a flashback, you've either learned the lesson to accept reality as it is, or you glean some insight that allows for the impossible to become possible. I'm hoping it's the latter. Even though Usui, not a huge fan of his, kind of hoping that in the end he is humiliated in some way and that his kind of ruthlessness and capitalism don't go rewarded. But in this scenario, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to revive the dream of the gigantic ship. Patience with your whims and desires. Must learn when it's time to give up on things. Oh, yeah. No. There's no way he's walking out of this one defeated. Afraid your allowance for this month is a mere 1 million yen. Ugh. Oh, what the heck? All this spray spot anyways. Get my hands on what I want. I'm going to keep going at it. Okay. Actuarial standpoint, every trade I make is a smart one. It's so real. There's no way that we can come from this with the idea that this guy's in the right, and yet it's so true. Every trade I make is a smart one. This is one of the really busted things about our financial systems is like these waves of kind of FOMO driven stuff where you see people making investments, you don't want to miss out on the scoop. You hop on board too. The original investor could actually be recouped by these FOMO driven bandwagon hoppers, and then they just wash their hands of it. Who knows what the heck they invested in? Who knows what relation it actually has to reality? It's just in the movement. It's just in noticing this movement that everyone hops on and creates a much bigger movement. And then if there's actually nothing at all behind this, if it's just like a tulip or like a large number that a graphics card came up with, it doesn't matter because the train already is off the rails and falling off the cliff or rocketing into space or doing both or alternating between the two. It's fucked up. So let's not talk about it anymore. Anyways, Suryu buying the clothes, getting in shape, winning a dodgeball tournament, playing a bunch of video games. This, I guess, is the payoff. This is what he really wanted, was a bunch of video games. Then he wants to go to the VR Center. Can't go to the VR Center. Got to be at least 13. What's the plan? Oh, it's time to just build yourself a racetrack. Okay. And here we see our main trio. This is a flashback to when they're out experimenting with rockets and stuff. A flashback or a within flashback crossover to another flashback that had happened earlier. Whatever. Remember, they're all playing with rockets and stuff. Was this actually in the background originally when they did that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Here's the adult, I hope, Suiru, relaxing with a bunch of fan service shots that I kept claiming don't exist in this series and then kept getting proven wrong. Indulging debauchery like that. Disgracing the Nami Corp's good name. Okay. What is Francois going to say? There's nothing debaucherous about Master Usui. Comes to deep desire, it is all too simple to convince oneself that a want is hardly a need. Far easier to give up before getting hurt. That is kind of inspirational, isn't it? The problem is that when your wants start hurting other people, hurting the entire planet, and it turns out all along they weren't even close to needs, then this philosophy, I start to be opposed to. By the way, how is this part of his flashback? I mean, I know that asking questions like this is pretty foolish. There's no real answer. But I can't help it. I still do it. He's not in the scene. He's out on this yacht or whatever. So how is he having a flashback to his maid defending him at this dinner? Whatever. He's not deceive himself in this way. He proclaims his desires loudly and perseveres. Debauchery is the last word I would use to describe such fortitude. Because desire is noble. All right, you know what? I'm kind of into it. I'm into it to a line. And up until that line, I'm fully into it. I mean, in the end, there's kind of a selfish component. There's like no truly ethical behavior that we can have in this system. Every desire we have, no matter how seemingly innocent, has waves and waves of ramifications that ultimately end up kind of undoing whatever good we thought they would do. Do I genuinely believe that? I don't know. That's the feeling I have, at least. Why do you spend sleepless nights on a scale model? Bones aren't bad, but they're crammed full of modern tech. Ah. Greatest man in the world. He wants an old school sailing ship. It is pretty romantic. I gotta keep coming back to that word. The idea of sailing only being powered by the wind. Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty nice. 1/48 scale, motorized sailing vessel. Someday I'll find someone to help me make the real thing. That day is today. Someone I can trust, someone worthy of teaming up with me. Make a model of our vessel. It's just a matter of blowing up scale. Okay. I suppose, yeah, if you have a model, and then everything you do is just scaled up, that is a lot easier than just working off of blueprints. Blueprints that might look good on paper, but can't actually fit in the real world. Okay, alright, yeah, this is exciting. Okay, so we're gonna build a little model ship. As long as we've got an obsessed model ship maker, we can create a 1/48 scale model with 10 billion% accuracy. Senku observing his flashbacks or something? What is the odds of him using the exact same scale and perceiving his obsessiveness and all of that stuff? I don't know. He just figured it out. That's fine. He turns around and demands 10 trillion dragos as his fee. No need to payment. Just promise me we won't give up. That's nice. I like that. He put aside his most ruthless and shameless desires for this bigger one. Feels like those two can accomplish anything. See? This is foreshadowing. You're throwing up flags, Suika. I know you're just a little girl and you don't know about flags and you don't know about this sort of ominous foreshadowing. But I think a power struggle is coming. Things could get ugly. The closer they become as friends, the more ugly it's going to get. I'm just happy that it's happening between Senkyu and Ryusui, who I think are very interesting in the ways that they're ideologically opposed, and that I already kind of have my reservations about Ryusui, rather than with someone like Chrome, whom I love, or with someone like Gen, you know, where it's like it would be so out of character for him to even oppose Senkyu in that way. This is going to be much more dynamic, I think. All right. Never give up, not on anything, because desire is noble. All right. Let's see. Let's see what these two geniuses can do together. I'm excited to find out. I'm just really glad that the big ship is back on the table. I'm so looking forward to big ship adventures. I hope they go in depth with the construction too. Even though it's probably not going to be the most technologically innovative or interesting thing they've done in this series, I think in terms of just the sheer craftsmanship, and stuff like that, it's going to be one of the most impressive things. Okay, cool. See ya.